Hi there. My name is Jessy. I will be your yoga guide for today. Today we're going to be doing a beginner-friendly flow, and we'll focus on the hip section of the body as well as the chest and get some nice stretches kind of overall to the full body. A little bit about me before we start. I am expecting as well, so you might see me demonstrating things just a little bit differently. I'll be sure to explain that along the way, but I might have my feet a little bit wider just to make room for my belly. And if anyone else is expecting to, this is a great class to participate in. As far as yoga props go from your house, if you have blocks, great, and straps, that's wonderful. If not, you could always use a belt or a scarf, kind of improvise. As far as blocks go, we can do without them most of the time. But sometimes maybe some books stacked up can be helpful as well for some props. If you ever need to take breaks along the way, just pause the video, grab some water, whatever you need to do. Feel free to play some music as well in the background. I personally always like an energizing playlist when I practice, or sometimes I'm in the mood for something mellow. So this class won't move particularly fast, but we will focus on some strengthening as well. So we're going to start in a seated posture. You can grab a pillow to start, or you can sit up on a block as well. I'm going to grab a block for my hips. So a lot of times when the hips are a little bit tight, it's good to sit up on something. And you might wonder, I don't know, are my hips tight? A good way that you can tell is that your knees are a little bit above your pelvis. You can probably notice that mine are a little bit high, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a little bit of tightness in your hips. So sitting up on a block can help you relax a little bit more into the seated posture. And it might just feel a lot more comfortable on your back. I know it does for me. And it'll also help tilt your pelvis forward a little bit. So starting wherever you can find your seat, make sure your pelvis is nice and grounded. Bring your hands to your lap in a comfortable spot. Close your eyes. And before we go into any movement, we'll start with our breath. Forgive me if I breathe into this microphone a bit too loudly. This is my first yoga video, so thank you for being a part of it. So we'll come to a breath. The breath is, I would say, the most important part of our physical yoga practice. So just remembering that as we practice today. Always making sure that you can breathe nice and deeply. If you ever find yourself holding your breath in a certain posture, that's always a sign, a nice sign that your body tells you that posture is maybe not serving you today. So let's just start by evening out the breath. I'm going to guide you through a few rounds of a breath technique. It's called Samavriti, and that means equal part breath. So take a deep breath in through your nose and a deep breath out through your nose. Inhale for 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, and 4. Gather your hands together at your heart center. We'll press the thumbs gently into the sternum. Keep lifting through the crown of the head. Relax the shoulders. Take a few deep breaths here. Just gathering all of your energy. There is a whole lot happening in the world right now, all around us, and certainly within our heads, within our minds. So we use the practice today and every day to still the fluctuations of our mind. In yoga, the fluctuations of the mind are called chittavritti nirodha. So that basically translates to calming your mind down. Trying to let go of all those thoughts that we have, the millions of thoughts all the time that go through our mind. And just for a little bit, we'll try to clear all of that out. Simply get into the body. Go ahead and open your eyes. And if you're sitting on something, you can go ahead and release it now. We're going to get into some side stretching to start. So make sure your pelvis stays rooted on your mat. If you're more comfortable sitting up on that block, you can definitely stay up there. Up to you. Also, anything that I say that doesn't quite work for your body, you don't have to listen to it, right? So if you have an old injury you're working with and something, some certain pose that I'm teaching doesn't feel good for you, just do your thing. Also, if you are a more advanced practitioner, feel free to take things up a notch, take a different variation, whatever works for you today. My practice personally has been nice and gentle lately, just kind of listening to my body and trying not to force things. So we're all different every day. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gazing up towards your fingertips. And exhale, draw the hands together at your heart center. So just moving with the breath to start. Engage your core just a little. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, draw the palms to the heart. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale. Last one, deep breath in. And deep breath out. You can release your hands back down to your knees, and we'll just tilt the head side to side here. Doesn't really matter which side. Just getting a nice opening through the neck. Try to release the opposite shoulder down a little bit, opening up all the way to the front of the neck, side of the neck. If it feels good for you, you can start to tilt that head back. And tilt it down. Coming back up to center, switch sides. Opposite shoulder is going to move down just a little bit. Get heavy. And then again, feel free to move the neck really gently. We're going to be gentle during this class today. And sometimes moving slow in the practice, moving gently, is a little bit harder. And release up. From here, interlace your hands behind your back. I'm just going to turn for demonstration. I might do that a lot in this video. Interlace the hands. Bring the fists down at the sacrum, that triangle bone at the low back. From here, draw the shoulder blades together behind you. Start to draw your elbows towards one another. Lift the chest, breathing in and breathing out. Couple more breaths here, getting a nice chest expansion. If you'd like to take it a little bit deeper, just extend those fists down towards the earth while lifting the chest. Take one more breath. And release back up. Inhale, sweep the arms up all the way to center. And exhale, drop your right arm down, left arm reaches overhead, taking a side stretch. Now reaching through those left fingertips, keep your left hip anchored to your mat. Deep breath in. And exhale. Take one more deep breath here. Inhale, bring it back up through center, expand the chest, and exhale, switch sides. This time, right hip stays anchored as the right fingertips reach up. See if you can peel your heart up towards the sky. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Take one more breath here. Inhale brings you back up. And exhale, plant your feet to your mat. Coming into reverse tabletop here. So plant the feet down, hips width apart. Hands plant underneath your shoulders, fingertips face your heels. And on your inhale, press into the feet, lift your hips high. From here, you can look forward if that's comfortable, or drop the head back. Deep breath in. And exhale. Let's take two more breaths here. Keep pressing into the palms. Don't worry if your lift isn't very high. One more breath. And slowly release. Finding our way into a tabletop position, however is comfortable for you. So hands and knees. And we'll start by spreading out the fingers. Wrist creases are underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. You can choose to tuck your toes or leave the tops of the feet down, whatever feels better for you. As you inhale, let's drop the belly as you tilt the pelvis up, look up, drop the heart. See, I'm not dropping my belly as much just because it feels uncomfortable because I have a little baby in there, so it doesn't want to be stretched out, but you can go ahead and drop that belly, arch that spine. And exhale, round the spine opposite way, so back of the heart lifts like a Halloween cat. Inhale, drop the belly. Lift the tail, lift the crown of the head, roll the shoulders back, open the heart. And exhale, round the spine. Deep breath in, drop the belly, and exhale. Let's do a couple more rounds. Just follow your own breath here. And one more round. And we'll come into a neutral tabletop position here. A little wrist release. Start to turn your hands outward. So fingertips can face the side, or you can flip them all the way around. That seems to be a little bit intense on the wrists, so maybe it's somewhere in between. Check that out. And take a few deep breaths. Now, obviously, we always want to watch out for any sharp pain in our yoga practice. Always avoid that, of course. You may feel a lot of discomfort in the physical yoga practice, and that's very normal, and we just learn to breathe through it, finding the difference between the pain and the discomfort. Go ahead and flip the wrist back over, and we'll take a child's pose here. Big toes touch, widen your knees to the edges of your mat, and sit back on your heels, resting your forehead to the mat. Stretch your arms out nice and long. Few deep breaths here. Balasana, child's pose. We'll take it into a side stretch, so keep your hips sitting back. You can come up to fingertips and lift your head. Make little teepees with your fingertips. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, walk it over towards your right. So side child's pose. And then go ahead and melt the head back down. You can melt the palms back down. Breathing into the left side body. Keep that left hip anchored back. One more breath. Inhale, bring it back up. Walk it all the way over towards the left side. Exhale, melt the head down. Melt the palms down. Breathing into your right side. Right hip crease is moving back, away from the right shoulder. And one more breath. Inhale, come back through center. And exhale, let's come all the way up to that tabletop position once more. We'll take a downward facing dog. So you can walk your hands forward about one handprint. Hands stay shoulders width apart. I like to point my index fingers forward. Tuck the toes and bring your hips up and back. Now your knees can definitely stay bent in downward facing. For the majority of the population, hamstrings are really tight. That's very normal. We walk a lot, we run a lot, whatever the case. You can bend your knees as much as you need. Focus on hips up and back. Your heels are going to work down towards your mat, but they don't have to touch, so no worries if they're not touching. Take a few deep breaths here. You're welcome to pedal out your feet. Maybe sway the hips. Keep pressing through your palms. Push the mat away. Make sure your shoulders are engaged. Shoulder blades down the back. What we want to avoid is just hyperextending towards the mat. So I can easily do that, but I want to stay engaged. So engage through my core. My upper arm bones are plugged into the shoulders. Super active. One more breath. And release, knees back down to the mat. On your next inhale, extend your right leg back behind you. So you want to square your pelvis down, flex the right toes, take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Next, inhale, left arm extends forward. Spinal balance. So hugging all that energy into the midline, finding your core. Your back toe can be tucked like this, or the top of the foot can be down. Either or. Inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee underneath the body. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Couple more. Inhale, extend. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, extend. Now, if this wrist is bothering you on the right side, feel free to take a fist. We're going to do some pulses. Again, excuse my breath into the microphone. A funny thing about being pregnant is that you get really out of breath. It's just part of it, so. One more round of breath here, pulses. And then release. Let's take another child's pose. Sit back on the heels, extend the arms forward. And breathe. Now, child's pose can also be done with the knees together as well. So obviously I don't really have space for that, but if you do, that can be a really nice release on the low back. So we'll have more opportunities to come into child's pose as well. Extend your left leg back behind you. Again, square the hip. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. When you're ready, right hand extends as well. Inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee under the body. Inhale, extend, lengthen. Exhale, contract. Couple more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contract. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, lift, and pulse. So gently just bring your foot up, hand up. We're working on the glutes here. You might feel that burn. You can come onto a fist with your left hand. And we'll keep going for 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. This time let's take it back into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Again, pedal out your knees if that feels good for you. Sway the hips. Take a deep breath in. Bend your knees, look up towards your hands, and exhale, bring the hips up and back, straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees deeply, look forward. Exhale, bring it back. One more, inhale. And exhale. Let's tiptoe the feet up towards the hands. Coming into a nice forward fold. So let's just hang out here for a bit. I'll take my mala off. Oh, stuck into the mic cord. Technical difficulties. One moment. So in our forward fold, you can grab opposite hand to opposite elbow. Your knees can be really bent here. You can sway side to side. And release the hands down towards your mat. Gentle bend in your knees here. Inhale to a halfway lift. Fingertips touch your shins. Lengthen the crown of the head forward. Heart opens. So finding a long spine here. Inhale. And exhale. And the reason I always cue bend in the knees here for the halfway lift is to help us get that flat back. So extended back. Right? Sometimes when we bend our knees, it's more accessible. So depending on your body. And exhale, fold. Grounding down through your feet, inhale, sweep your arms up, come to standing. Exhale, hands through to heart center. We'll take mountain pose, Tadasana. So feet are hips width apart here. And you want to really press down through all four corners of the feet. So a nice exercise is to lift your toes and spread your toes out, and then allow them to come back down to your mat. So you're going to feel the arches of your feet lift up. From there, bend the knees just slightly. We want to avoid locking the knee out totally, so just a gentle bend. Sacrum extends down towards your mat. Arms alongside your body. Palms are facing the front of you. Fingers are spread and active. Crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. Mountain pose. Inhale, circle arms up. Exhale, open the arms, lead with the chest, fold forward. Feel free to bend the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, fold right back down. Hinge at your hips. Inhale, lift the heart halfway. Exhale, fold. So some half sun salutations here. Inhale, sweep arms up. Maybe lift the heart just a tad. And exhale, fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins, or if flexibility is there, you can bring your hands to the earth, and exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. If this is accessible. If not, no worries. You can always grab your little scarf or your belt and hang on to it, or opposite hand to opposite elbow or forearm. That works too. Lift the heart. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, belly to thighs, fold forward. A little chest expansion here. Stay grounded through your feet, breathing in and breathing out. Shoulder blades away from your ears. One more breath. And exhale. Release your hands gently to the low back and then all the way down towards the earth. We'll come into chair pose here. So bring your feet together, knees together. Bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. If possible, arms alongside your ears here. Look down, make sure you can see your toes. Sitting back into that chair. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Inhale, come to standing. And exhale. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall. We'll do a few little flows here. Inhale, drop the seat. Exhale, stand tall. Inhale, chair. Exhale. One more inhale. And this time, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift your heart halfway. Exhale, plant your palms to the mat. Step back to a plank pose. Now you can always lower the knees to modify. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. A few more breaths here. I'm definitely taking my knees to the mat today. I don't know if I can talk and do plank right now. Maybe a couple breaths. Feel that core. Make sure you root your tailbone towards your heels. So wherever you are, let's drop the knees. Take a deep full breath in here. And as you exhale, we'll take a modified chaturanga. So this is kind of like a tricep push-up. It is pretty difficult at first until you build up the strength. So no worries if you flop down. That happened to me a lot in the past. So you want to shift forward just a little bit. Shoulders forward of the wrists, and then bend your elbows straight back. So you lower down with control. Bring your chest to your mat. Hips are lifted. Now, either slide through to a baby cobra, or I'm going to go right through to upward facing dog because I want to avoid laying on my belly. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Now, that was a modified vinyasa. We won't do a whole lot of those, but I thought we'd go through at least one. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And next, inhale, step towards the top of the mat. And exhale, fold. Inhale, fingertips to your shins, lengthen your heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do one more round of that vinyasa or sun salutation. Now you can take whatever version is in your practice. Inhale, circle arms up. Exhale, hinge from your hips to fold forward, moving with the breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Inhale here, option to lower the knees. Exhale, lower. Elbows hug in. Inhale, slide to your belly for a baby cobra or straighten the arms, lift kneecaps and thighs for upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Breathing. So those vinyasas are designed to heat our body, so they're supposed to be a little bit difficult. Take one more breath. Let's step up to meet the hands. And inhale, lengthen the heart halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up to standing. And exhale, hands together at the heart. I'm going to take a little water break here. Feel free to take water whenever you need. My mouth always gets dry when I have to talk. All right. So coming into our standing poses, we're going to start with Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Start with your feet about hips width apart, and then step your left foot back. So left foot back, right foot forward. You're going to bend your right knee so it's over your right ankle. It can be a little behind it too. That's fine. We just want to watch when the knee goes forward of the ankle. It puts pressure on the knee. So nice and aligned here. We want to have the intention of squaring our hips. So right hip crease back as the left hip moves forward. Back leg is nice and straight. You're pushing into the outside edge of the left foot. Arms can stay at your hips or come up towards your ears. Breathing in and breathing out. Couple more breaths here. Really feeling that strength from your legs. Grounding into the feet. One more breath. And release the hands down. Let's straighten that leg. Step your back foot in. Just about a foot or so. We're sitting up for pyramid pose. Parsvatonasana. So feet are hips width apart again. Pelvis is square towards the front. So right hip crease back. We're going to interlace our hands for these pyramid poses. So I invite you to take the clasp of your hands that might feel a little bit awkward for you. Inhale, lift the heart. Tone up the legs and exhale, hinge from your hips. Now, since we have our hands interlaced, you may not fold as far. That's okay. Keep your core engaged. If you'd rather release your hands down to the floor, or if you have blocks, great. If you don't have blocks, no worries. You can almost also get away with just a little bit of pressure on that front shin. Just make sure you're not pushing too hard. One more breath here. Pyramid pose. On your next inhale, go ahead and rise up. And exhale, step forward. Let's get ready for the other side. Warrior one. Left leg forward, right foot back. Now your right leg is nice and straight, and those right toes are on a diagonal. So your right toes are kind of facing the right top diagonal of your mat. Bend into the left knee, knee over ankle. Square the pelvis towards the front of your mat. Engage your core. Go ahead and lift your arms. Relax your shoulders and breathe. Warrior one. Strong and fierce into the legs. One more breath. Straighten your legs, walk that back foot in, interlace your hands, the opposite thumb on top. Inhale, lift your heart, and exhale, fold forward. Toning up the muscles in the legs. You can bend your knees if you need. Inhale. Exhale. Again, you can keep the hands interlaced here. That's going to work on the strengthening aspect a little more. You can release your hands down to the earth or some blocks. Maybe rest them on that top shin. Make sure you bend the knee just a little so you're not putting pressure on your knee. One more breath. Let's come back up. Take a breath. This time, we're going to turn towards the right. So we're facing this long edge of the mat here. Wide-legged forward fold. Bring your feet out nice and wide. Bring your arms out to a T. So I like to kind of line up my wrists and my ankles as best as possible, give or take, hands to hips. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, hinge from your hips and bow forward. Now you can bend the knees here for sure. Release the hands down to your mat or some blocks as well. Let's inhale, take a deep full breath in, lengthen your spine, halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward. Now if it's in your practice today, you can walk your hands back to be in line with your feet. Crown of the head releases towards the mat. Really pressing into all four corners of your feet here. And gather that energy up through your legs, engaging your core. In our yoga practice, yes, it is a lot about stretching, but we also want to find that stability and activity in each of our stretches. So we're keeping active with the legs. Inhale, come up to that halfway lift again. And exhale, hands to the hips. Inhale, rise up. And exhale. Whew. Building up some heat. Then we're going to come into goddess pose. Toe heel your feet in just a little bit more. We're going to turn the toes out and heels in. And bending into the knees track over the ankles. Toes turned out. Kind of like a ballet squat or something. So you're welcome to bring your hands to your knees if that's comfortable. Hands to hips or maybe cactus arms. Take a deep full breath in. And exhale. Keep lengthening your tailbone down. Good, one more breath. Whew, feel the burn. Feeling all my inactivity during quarantine. Good, and release. Nice. So we're going to bring the feet in just a little bit more. Feet are still wider than your hips. Turn toes out, heels in, coming into Malasana or yogic squat. So like all yoga poses, this might not be accessible for everybody, and that's okay. So your heels may lift. Sometimes that's normal, just depending on your hips. Also, it might feel better for you to sit on a block or something. Everybody's bone structure is different, especially where the femur bone connects to the hip here. So for some of us, poses like this might not feel too good. So feel free to skip it if it doesn't. We're going to press the elbows into the inner thighs back into the elbows, and then lift up through the chest. I like to close my eyes here in this pose. This pose is said to be the most energetically grounding posture in our yoga practice. So, again, coming back to the whirlings of the mind, if you're ever just caught up in everything that's going on right now, everything you think you need to do or whatever you're thinking about, this pose is a really great tool to come into, bring you back to earth. One more breath. Okay, go ahead and open the eyes. We're going to come up to standing. You can use your knees if you need to. No judgment here. And remove that block if you're using one. And let's just shake it out. Grab some water if you need it. We're going to come into tree pose next, Vrikshasana. So a little bit of balancing. If balance is wobbly, no worries, find a wall. Find something to hold on to, the couch, whatever. We all have our days when we feel wobbly. That's just how it goes. So let's start with the left foot down and the right foot in. So focus your eyes, right knee to the chest, and open your knee up. Place it either on your inner calf muscle, so below the knee, or pick it up and bring it above your knee. Whoop, mine's not going to stay today. That's all right. So when you bring that foot above your knee, you really got to press the heel into the inner thigh. And if you wobble, it's all right. Another version of tree pose, if balance is just a little bit weird right now, is to just bring your foot down and kickstand. If you fall out, just get right back in. One more breath. Woo. And release. Shake it out. Let's try the other side. So right foot down. Spread the toes, ground that foot. Inhale, left knee in towards the chest. Open it up. And again, upper inner thigh. Oh, this side works for me. It's funny how that happens. or inner calf muscle, or kickstand it on the ground. Doesn't matter. One version of the pose is not better than the other. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Focusing the eyes. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Tree pose. Nice. Release. Let's make our way back to the top of our mat. Inhale. Sweep the arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come into a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep arms up. And exhale, relax the arms alongside you. We're coming into warrior twos next. Just one more round of standing poses. We're going to get a little external rotation in our hips. So take a big step back again to the long edge of your mat. Now I'm going to mirror you now. So hopefully I don't mess up my words. So turn your right toes out so they face forward towards that short edge of your mat. And before we come into it, align your right heel to the left arch of your back foot. And then try to bring your left heel a little bit farther back than the toes. So there's a little bit of an inward spiral to the back foot. Now bend right knee over ankle. And tee the arms. Warrior two. Again, heel to arch alignment. Press down through the feet. See if you can balance the pelvis so you're not getting sassy with that back hip, as my first teacher used to say. So balance that out. Rib cage above pelvis, and then gaze over the right fingertips. Strong legs. Take one more breath. From here, you're going to keep your legs the same. So really strong, powerful legs. Flip your right palm up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Drop your left hand down, reaching up, expanding. And exhale, side angle pose, Parsva Konasana. Now again, the knee can be a little bit behind the ankle. Just watch if it goes forward of it. Try to get it on top of the ankle. So right forearm or right elbow to right thigh, and then sweep left arm overhead. Side angle pose. We're making a long line from our fingertips to our back toes. I know a lot of yogis like to bind, so you're welcome to take a half bind here. Bring that top arm behind you. So watch how I'm flipping my left palm back and then bending my elbow to bring that hand towards my right hip crease or low back, whatever you can find. Gazing up towards the ceiling. One more breath. Okay, let's release, come back up, straighten that leg. Whew. Now, toe heel the back foot in. Still keep that heel a little bit out. Heel to arch alignment, triangle pose. Tee the arms, legs are straight. Inhale, reach that right arm forward, hips back. And exhale, right arm down, left arm up. A block is helpful here underneath that right hand. For sure, if you have one. If you don't, no worries. Right hand to shin. If we're working on flexibility, right hand can be way up on the thigh too. Let's focus on right hip crease tucked under the body. So moving back a little bit. And chest expanding towards the sky. Maybe gazing up. Trikonasana, triangle pose. One more breath. And release. Come all the way back up. Let's switch sides. I don't know about you, but I have to shake out that back ankle. My back ankle gets a nice stretch there. So we're going to switch sides. Turn your left toes out towards that short edge of your mat. Remember, left heel. Pretend there's a line drawn down that left heel to the middle of your right foot. Heel to arch. Go ahead and bend into the left knee, over the ankle. Back leg is straight. Warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Gazing over the left fingertips. Now your stance here can be super duper wide if you want. Really get into that. Or it can be a little bit higher. So just depending. Keep the integrity and the strength of the pose before you go into the deep flexibility. It's always good advice. We want to protect our joints in all of our poses by staying really active into our muscles. Flip the left palm up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Big side body stretch. And exhale, take it down to side angle pose. Parsva Konasana. So forearm to front thigh or elbow to front thigh. And sweep that right arm overhead. Shoulder blades down the back. Chest spins open. Breathing in. And breathing out. Couple more breaths here. It's really easy to get sort of lazy into our poses when we get tired. But really try to push the floor away with the feet. Rise up and out of that left shoulder. Stay super active. One more breath. And come back up. Straighten the legs. Woo. Toe heel the back foot in. For triangle pose, Trikonasana. To your arms. Inhale. Reach that left fingertip forward, hips back. Exhale. Left arm down, right arm up. Again, keep the muscles of the legs active. Left hip crease. Moving back in space. Spin the heart open. Oh, you know what? I forgot the half bind with side angle. That happens a lot as a yoga teacher. So let's do it here. If you want, you can flip that top hand towards the back of the room and then bend the elbow. Take it towards your left hip crease. Same thing, different legs. So as far as the head goes, you can look down. You can keep the neck neutral, or you can look up. Just depending on your neck. Sometimes you sleep funny, and that might not feel good, looking up. One more breath. Okay, go ahead and release. Come back up. Whew. And let's step it together. Shake it out. Nice work. Come towards the top of the mat again. Inhale. Sweep the arms up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale. Halfway lift. Open that heart and exhale, fold. We're going to keep the right foot forward. Step the left leg back. So lizard pose. Toe heel your right foot out towards the edge of your mat so that your right shoulder is to your inner right knee. Back knee can come down. Lizard pose can go in a lot of different depth depending on your hips. So you can stay upright. If you feel like you need a little bit of lift and you do have a block or a book, you can lift up just a little bit. If you have that opening in your hips, you're welcome to take it down as well. I'm not sure how low I can get these days. There we go. It's amazing how your entire body just completely rewires during pregnancy. It's wild. So watch that right knee. Make sure it's not falling out. Keep it hugging in. Couple more breaths. Another option is to tuck your back toes and lift that back knee as well. My low back does not like that, so I'm going to skip that. So again, finding that line between feeling uncomfortable and, ooh, this stretch is really hard, or I'm shaking because it's a lot of strength. The difference between that and feeling pain. So we don't want to feel any pain. Challenge is good, right? And go ahead and release. Tuck your back toe if it's not already. We're going to step forward. Just shake it out. Ooh, wow. Hello, hip flexor. Lizard pose. Bring your right foot back. Left foot forward. Come back down to that knee. Toe heel your left foot to the outer edge of your mat. Toes face forward on the left leg. Again, you can stay upright. You can even come up on a block with your hands. Breathing. If you want to come a little bit lower, you're welcome to bring your elbows maybe all the way down to your mat, maybe to a block. And you will probably notice that one hip tends to be more open than the other. Maybe not, but usually that's the case. Breathing here. Option to tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. Keep the heart nice and open. Try not to round the spine too much. One more breath. Yeah, this time, let's step it forward again. As gracefully as possible. Easier said than done. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. You can take a little bit of a deeper forward fold this time. You can grab the backs of your calves or your ankles. Another great posture is Padangustasana. Make a peace sign with your fingers and wrap those fingers, bring the fingers between your big toe and your second toe, and then hook them around the bottom of your big toe on both hands. You may need to bend your knees. In my case, I need to widen my feet. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Bending your elbows to the sides. And we're using the strength of our hands here to release our spine. One more breath. And release. From here, plant the palms. Step it back to downward facing dog, our last down dog of the class. You're welcome to toss in a vinyasa at this point. If that's something that's in your practice, go ahead. And we'll meet in child's pose. So either knees wide or knees together. Sit back on the heels and rest your head. slowly make your way back up. And from here, foot pressure pose. So bring the knees together back in line with your hips. This pose might not be comfortable for everybody's knees. So you're welcome to bring a pillow between your heels and your hips or sit up on a block if you need to. Otherwise, skip this. If any knee problems are happening, you can just skip it. That's okay too. But we're going to tuck the toes and sit back on the heels. So, foot pressure pose, or broken toe pose, I've also heard it called, for a good reason, because it gets very intense pretty quickly. I can already feel my toes starting to scream a little bit, but it's really good for you. We have a big long line of fascia, connective tissue on the bottom of the foot. And a lot of times it can get really tight and cause problems for us, like plantar fasciitis, stuff like that. So we want to try to open up the feet and keep the feet really flexible. The older I get, the less this pose feels good. So I don't know if you're in that boat too, but maybe that means I need it more. Breathe into it. Whenever it gets too intense, just go ahead and release. Couple more breaths. And that's about all I can take of that. Woo! Go ahead and slap the feet out. And remove the block or the pillow if you were sitting on something, and let's come to a seated posture. Shasana, one of my favorite poses. Going to extend your right leg out. Sole of the left foot to the inner right thigh. Now even here, if the hips feel a little bit tight, you can slide that pillow underneath your sit bones. Flex that right foot. Keep it really active. So flexing the foot really helps engage all of the muscles up the leg. Frame your right foot with your hands. Take a deep breath in and exhale, fold forward. Now you want to try to fold the shoulders, really square over that extended leg as much as you can. While encouraging this shoulder here, so it would be your left shoulder, down towards the mat. One more breath. And come back up. Switch sides. So left leg extended long. Flex the toes. Sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. Frame the hands. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, fold. Leading with the heart here. So this pose in Sanskrit is Shasana. And that translates to English as head to knee pose. Now that's not necessarily the goal, right? It's okay if your head doesn't touch your knee. That's the energetic action. That's how I like to think of it. So a lot of people are really intimidated to try yoga. Well, I'm not flexible. And while I understand that, that's just a funny reason to me to not practice. It's like I'm too dirty to take a bath. I've heard that quote also said in reference to I'm not flexible enough for yoga, right? So it's all about the energetic action. of the pose. So head to knee pose for some people can look like this. No worries. Our head is going towards our knee. Practice and all is coming. Go ahead and lift up. Baddha Konasana, or butterfly pose, cobbler pose. Soles of the feet together, knees wide. Excuse the cat hair on my pants. So you can reach for the shins here, or interlace your hands underneath your feet if you'd like. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, fold forward. Try to lead with the heart. Folding forward might just be a little bit for some of us, and that's fine too. This pose definitely feels a little different after being inside the house, being in quarantine mode for 2 months now. We do our best and try to move our bodies, but sometimes it's hard. And release. Wide-legged forward fold, Upavista Konasana. So you're going to flex your feet up. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, fold forward. Few deep breaths here. And work your way back up. Let's make our way to our back bodies here. Rolling all the way down to the back. And, gotta move this clip. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. We're going to come into a twist here. You might wonder why I haven't been teaching twist this class, because I'm really not supposed to practice twist much during pregnancy. But I have these blocks here, so I'm going to use the blocks. You don't have to if you're not expecting. So bring your knees together, arms to a T. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, release your knees towards your right. I'm going to let mine fall on that block just so I'm not so deep in my twist. But feel free to let your legs fall all the way down. Breathing in. And breathing out. You can always look over your left shoulder too to complete that twist. And inhale, bring it up through center. And exhale, switch sides. Knees drop all the way down towards your left. Find deep breaths here. And one more breath. Starting to slow the breath down. Draw the legs back up. And relax the feet down to your mat. I'm just going to take a pause here. I'm going to move my blocks. Oops. Bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. Walk your feet in, closer to your hips, ankles below your knees. Arms alongside your body. Pressing into your feet. Lift your hips up nice and high. Work your shoulder blades together under your body. You can interlace your hands as well if that feels okay for you. We really want to press into the mat, anything that's making contact with your mat. So even the back of your head, press it into the mat. Try not to move your neck too much here. Heads of the arm bones pressing into the mat. Feet pressing into the mat. You'll feel a chest opening as well as the glute strengthening, of course. Hamstring strengthening. And slowly release. Release the hands. And come back down to the mat. Happy baby pose. Ananda Balasana. Knees come in towards your chest. We're going to bring them wide this time. And then flex your feet up towards your ceiling. So ankles above your knees. And then reach for the edges of your feet. If that's not happening today, reach for the ankles. That's okay too. We're gently drawing the knees down towards the mat or down towards our rib cage, relaxing the shoulders. You can gently rock side to side on your sacrum. And one more breath here. And release the feet, but extend them up towards the sky. Sometimes I like to support my sacrum with my hands. Just feels better for my body. And here, we're doing like a legs up the wall, except we don't have a wall. So basically just letting your legs hang out here. If you do have a wall. Of course you have a wall. And wherever you're watching this video. So if you'd like at this moment to make your way to a wall and bring your legs up the wall, you're welcome to. Just make sure you bring your pelvis as close to the wall as you can. You can also slide a pillow underneath your hips and just get really comfy there. We're going to come into Shavasana very shortly. So again, you can take your Shavasana with your legs up the wall. It's sometimes like just a really nice option. So whatever you choose, find your way into your final resting pose. Either legs up the wall or a traditional Shavasana, which translates into corpse pose. Your legs extend long. Your legs can take some space on your mat and feet fall apart away from each other. Palms face up. Work your shoulder blades under your body. Shavasana is the most important pose of our practice. Again, coming back to our minds, the chitta vrittis, the whirlings of the mind. In Shavasana, we try our best to just let go. We have moved and worked our physical body in order to sit still. You're welcome to take your Shavasana for as long as you'd like and pause the video right now. But we'll be here for just a few minutes in silence, letting go of the practice, keeping your eyes closed, and trying to clear your mind. So if the thoughts come up, allow them to pass by without dwelling on the thought. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Shavasana. Take a deep, full breath in and slowly exhale. Start to roll out your ankles. Roll out your wrists. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Arms up overhead. Knees come into the chest as you roll over to your side body. Right side or left side. And we'll meet in a seated posture. Sukhasana, cross-legged seat. And just take a moment here to notice. Observe any shifts that you might feel in your energy. The practice of yoga is a very energetic practice. So it's normal to start a physical practice, maybe feeling one way, and by the time you're finished, you might feel completely different. I love that about yoga. It helps us let go of energetic blockages within our body that we don't realize are there. So let's take a deep, full breath in. Exhale from your mouth. Let it go. Let's do 2 more like that. Just letting everything go. Inhale through the nose. Open mouth. And 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. Hands together at your heart center. The light and love within me honors the light and love within you. Namaste.